up? This guy. So a lot has happened since my last video. We're not gonna get into that. It's a lot, and it's not necessary. So today's gonna be hopefully a shorter video, and it's gonna be mostly poem. I'm literally gonna talk for probably until like the minute mark, and then I'll start. But anyways, I did get this. There you go. That's for my older sister who died 45 minutes after birth, so I never got to meet her. And I actually wore a bracelet that said the same thing on it for years, and then it snapped. And then on my 18th birthday, I was planning something different, but plans ended up changing, and so I ended up getting a tattoo, like, you know, everybody does on their 18th birthday, because I'm not original. Anyways, so yeah, the piece I'm doing today, just follow along, because there's some spots where it might not make sense, but if you just keep going with it, it'll hopefully make as much sense to you as it did me. Anyways, a thought from the curvature of the brain is a sunset over a landscape of cracks and crevices of pink spaghetti tissue sculpted into its own world. Perspective is a bitch when you can't see 2/3 of what's around you. You see what's in front of you, and even though someone could describe what's behind you, you won't physically see it. Communication is something that is so hard to figure out and learn. You can think you're communicating in high definition to someone's ear, but all that's being picked up on the antenna is static, fuzzy. You don't learn something until you can fully explain it to someone else. We can stress and draw pictures and maps with the greatest detail that even the smallest eye would see it, but maybe your detail is so small that to the great puzzle that's being put together, it's just a pixel. Maybe it's the small details that get missed, but it's also backstory that makes us appreciate the destination. We want people to connect the dots and do things without being told. But can you expect a dog who doesn't understand language to follow your commands immediately? It takes work. It takes you pushing them slightly on the back to get them to sit how you want. You have to give information that causes questions. A horse won't drink your water of answers if it's not thirsty with questions. Religion tells you something exists, but you come and wonder for more answers. Some questions they can't answer for sure and concrete, but faith keeps you with them. Why don't we assume our partners don't know what they're offering either? We have to discover the other world of tissue with that other world of tissue. All cracks and crevices must have 2 flashlights looking deep. Mountain for ocean, thought for thought, sunset after sunset, day after day, you grow closer. Communication comes naturally, but if you force it, then you force your vision to one spot. Chess takes time to analyze the board, so why do we run so fast to a way we think? For just a moment. Take time to look hard at the horizon and smell the roses. We learn from failure. Just too bad we can't change history. But if you never fail, what do you learn? What if you've had to learn something yet, and neither has the other planet you spend your space with? You will approach the future based on your own pasts, but it's too bad you can't change history once you know there's no going back to change the love you gave to the planet that became your world. You learn from failure. English and Spanish are similar but different in many, many ways. So when you learn a way to communicate that others haven't, you become incompatible with others. Vice versa. The droid doesn't fall far from the apple tree, and it sure as hell doesn't see the same page, even though both grew with each other in the same grass. Excellent, evil, and emotions, all conflicting principles. We all see a third of them, but are blind to the other two in every situation. So how should one mind, body, and soul roll the dice on every situation with another mind, body, and soul and hope that their sunrise reflects theirs? When it happens, it's beautiful. The colors mix and play in the skies of each other's eyes, and the pupil expands when it's looking at what it loves. The pupil gives the best crevice to look into, but it is the hardest to not be intimidated by. When you learn to live in one world, how do you move on to a new one? How do you move on from another world? How does your world stay affected by the pollution that was put on it? When someone drops a piece of trash in your yard, it invites others to follow. So how do you learn to love a person that shared everything with you, from mornings to nights, from presents to trash? You can try to recycle, you can try to burn it, but at the end of the day, your sunset won't be the same. The colors don't seem right, and apologies don't grow the leaves back on the trees, but it's hard to see the droid sitting in another tree's branches. Yeah, there's always another bird to make a nest, but do I need to remind you of the woodpecker? Teaching a kindergarten class is nice, and so is a TV show, but the class moves on and a new cast comes in. The names stay the same and the material does too, but the faces don't. And it's not the same. But I guess things wouldn't work out between a tree and a bird anyways. One is flying fast through life and was kicked out of its home, while the tree grew on a stable base, deep-rooted. Some may be empty and dead inside, but others have rings around their eyes from age and experience of not having to struggle other than being vulnerable in the winter. But everything is vulnerable in the winter. The bird is smart and learned not to suffer and put in the work to get somewhere warm. Both perspectives gets the tree and the bird who once were codependent through the winter. But sometimes birds of a feather flock together and a tree drops seeds where it stands and the next generation sprouts. But on this planet Earth, the bird can fly as far as it wants with however many other flocks it wants. But no power line protects it like that tree's branches did. And the bird hurts when it realizes that in kindergarten it was taught that the giving tree gave to the bird, but it wasn't taught the perspective that the giving tree can give to many, or just another bird. It's harder to fly away from happiness than your problems, especially when flying from happiness causes new worlds to collide and new crevices to be searched. What if the next flashlight looking with yours strobes? At the end of the day, no matter what language, no sorry ever replanted a tree that was chopped down. No matter how much you try to scratch it out, no blade will take the initials the bird carved it into you. And I am so, so sorry I was the woodpecker. I wrote that poem in a realization of my actions, in a way, a reflection of myself, reflection of past events, reflection of, I mean, last few months I've been, I hate to say it, because of what my channel stands for. As of right now, I know it's not big. I know there's nothing going on right now, but, I always hope that at some point this might actually become like a bigger project for me. Right now, it's just kind of a place to kind of share, I don't know, my personality, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'm starting to like grow up in other ways, seeing outside paths. But yeah, I guess that's just kind of the sporadicness. That's kind of how my mind's been last few months. That was kind of a way to put my thoughts down on paper. So, and poem is it's definitely written for a reason. It's definitely huge meaning behind it. You can interpret it however you want. But in my mind, it's kind of a sorry, taking responsibility. So, I guess, okay, here's the thing. At this very moment, my father's on hospice. I'm still, I'm getting towards the end of processing something else that happened a little while ago. Topic that doesn't have to be visited. But I know what it was written for. I know the reason. That's all that matters. Interpret it however you want.